Israel's defense minister says physical markers are being placed along the so-called yellow line in the Gaza Strip. The boundary comes after Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of a ceasefire deal to release all the remaining hostages and a partial IDF withdrawal in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he knows exactly how many hostages Hamas is holding and that Israel will, quote, act accordingly if they don't receive them. ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy joins me now for more on this. Okay, Mick, so this yellow line has been marked days after the IDF says it's killed several Palestinians who have crossed it. How big of a deal are these markers, and what more are you learning about the Palestinians killed who crossed that line?
So, Andrew, it's a very important part for the continuation of this first phase of the ceasefire, which is, of course, the recovery of all hostages and the increase of humanitarian aid up to 600 trucks per day. It's just not there yet. And the withdrawal, of course, of the Israeli Defense Forces yellow line. I think it was unclear where that line was to most people living in Gaza, which is why they've done this, where they've actually marked it out. I don't know the details of the individuals that were killed. I would imagine the IDF would say, and perhaps it's true, that they were, under some kind of threat from them. There's many armed groups inside Gaza. We're seeing them start fighting each other now, including Hamas, with the withdrawal of the IDF. So I just think it's unclear of what happened in this specific incident.
And Mick, it feels as though concerns are growing that the ceasefire might not hold. How likely do you think that is?
I think it's a very real concern because it's really going to come down to Hamas disarming. They have never said that they would do that. And quite frankly, if they do disarm, they would be very vulnerable to these other groups who have serious vendettas for good reason against Hamas. They brutalized Palestinians when they were in power, and they brought this entire war to Gaza. So there's a lot of groups inside Gaza who would like to take retribution against them. So they have an issue both for their own security, which, the U.S. and Israel isn't much concerned about, but this is looking at it from their perspective, that they just don't want to disarm. And that is a key component for this ceasefire to continue and to go into the other points of this 20-point plan.
So given that component and the fact that the IDF has pulled back, what needs to happen next to ensure the disarming and dismantling of Hamas?
It's really coming down to this international stabilization force. There's been a lot of talk about it. There's been countries such as Indonesia, Jordan, Egypt, Turkey, who have talked about participating in it. But this needs to happen soon. It needs to be set up. It needs to be trained. They need to integrate the forces. And then they need to be inserted into Gaza. If they don't, then it's going to be essentially a vacuum created by the withdrawal of the IDF, and we could see a lot of civil strife. We probably won't see Hamas disarm, so we won't go forward with the ceasefire. So it's imperative that we start seeing action with this stabilization force to be ready, or this could essentially fall apart, and I don't think anybody wants to see that.
ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy, thank you for your time.